Hello and welcome to the Rabyd Atheist. I'm Rabyd, a former pastor turned atheist, now a compassionate anti-theist. Welcome to my channel. If you want to learn how to support this channel and its mission to normalize atheism and deconversion, stay tuned to the end of the video. Today I'm doing a little bit something different, a little bit more personal, where I'm explaining, I guess, some of the ways that leaving my faith and becoming an atheist has humbled me over the last few years, almost a decade now. And so I want to go over this because a lot of the claims that some people make against atheists is that we're arrogant to think that we can say that we don't believe in God, or as some Gnostic atheists might say, there is no God. But in truth, I think that it's really religion that is the ego booster. And so I'm going to go through 5 ways that becoming an atheist and leaving my faith humbled me. Number 1, I realized I didn't have a special relationship with a God. I was humbled by the fact that, like many people, I had made up my imaginary friend in my head into something I called God, but that friend didn't actually exist. I didn't have this cosmic super friend that solved all my problems. I now had to solve my problems myself, or actually look to my fellow human beings for help. That the real people I should thank were real people and not imaginary figures that really didn't do anything. I just thought God did, or gave him credit when somebody else actually did the work. But that's all it was, just thoughts. Just the thought that he did something. The reality is that I overcame obstacles and people helped me along the way of my life. I should have been thanking those real people for their contributions to my life, not some imaginary sky daddy. Number 2, I realized I wasn't special. I wasn't part of an elect group of people going to heaven while the rest burned in hell or were annihilated. It's a really nice sales pitch that you can have eternal life after all, but that's all it really is a sales pitch. Once I realized the truth that all of us are finite, it doesn't allow me to just move along thinking you will have some sort of time and eternity to fix things. I wasn't a king's kid, I wasn't saved, I wasn't chosen of God, all the other exalted thinking. Rather, I was just a member of a group of hominins known as Homo sapiens like everybody else. The product, not of special creation, but of the process of evolution through natural selection of my parents and nothing more. Put me on the same level as everyone on the planet instead of thinking bigger things about myself than was actually true. If I was going to be special in any way, I was going to have to earn it, not just be given it. Number 3, I realized I didn't have any special revelatory knowledge others didn't have. The Bible suddenly became another book to me, and prayer just became talking to myself. There was no longer for me any special knowledge from God to have that I thought that I had that other people did not. I suddenly realized one of the things that was for sure to be in the future was my own ignorance, that the only way to know truth was to find things that genuinely conformed with reality. I was going to have to find things that actually worked in that reality, that showed that they were true by having predictive power and their willingness to be put under a standard of falsifiability and not be falsified. It meant no longer accepting just somebody saying that something was sacred and had knowledge, but rather something, any knowledge, some knowledge, anything, has to be tested and tried to see if it's genuine, including my own ideas. Number 4, I lost my tribe and consequently a lot of my tribalism. I lost a lot of my ego-driven prejudices when I lost my tribe. Without my religion telling me who was going to hell and thus who I should dehumanize, I had no real reason to hate anyone anymore. At least not without good reason to do so. I'm not saying I lost all of my tribalism. I think it's inherent to humanity, but my tribe has become much bigger, and thus I'm just a smaller part in it. And it is much more about how we can positively build things together, not thinking about how things will be better with us involved rather than somebody else. I found when you look people in the eye as a fellow human being, instead of egotistically believing that you are better than them because you believe something, your human empathy goes up quite a bit. You are humbled by your shared human experience, not building up your ego thinking you are better than them and that your experiences are better than them because you know something they do not. You work far more on what you can do together to make life better, not on how they should be thankful to you for helping them out. Number 5, I realized I can be fooled. I believe it was Samuel Clemens, aka Mark Twain, that said it's easier to fool someone than to convince them that they have been fooled. It's a very humbling experience to realize you've been fooled by something, and fooled by something for a long time in my case. And perhaps it is our desire not to be humbled, to not have our pride attacked, is why Samuel Clemens can make this observation. Our pride gets in our way to admitting that we made a mistake. We always defend our decisions far more than we admit that we were made mistakes. This was very evident to me when I gave up Christianity and later belief in God at all. It was my pride and my ego that kept me in the faith, that I was too smart and too right and too chosen by God to be fooled. It was the humble thought that I can be fooled and I'm not as smart and right or chosen by God as I think I am. I'm not saying I've reached some sort of level of humility where I can say that I'm humble, though, because I realize because I can be fooled, that I could be fooled by some things right now, too. And that's why I'm always testing things to make sure, and always checking my own thinking. I realize that my own thoughts, beliefs, and everything can be very, very wrong, and so I constantly review them and try to make them better and better all the time to learn more. I don't think I would ever call myself humble, but I have been humbled by this revelation that I'm just like everybody else. How about a bonus one? I realized how rare, finite, and fragile life is. The reality hits home in a lot of ways. You start to appreciate what you have a lot more when you realize how rare life is in the universe. The fact that you are not going to live forever means that every moment you live becomes far more precious. Out of that understanding comes a lot of humble reflection of what great value life has to something rare and finite it is. It has really caused me to appreciate every moment that I have in my life and my life with the people that I love and care for and to the world that I live in. I want to reiterate again, I'm never going to claim the title that I became humble. I have been humbled, and I think that's a very different thing. I have found that being without religion causes me to look at my fellow human beings as fellow travelers, not as somebody I need to save. I think this is a much more humbling way of looking at your fellow human beings, but also as your own life. I just wanted to give these out because I think a lot of people want to paint atheists as people, that are the problem, but I think there's a lot of ego reinforcement and pride reinforcement in religion and not in atheism. It's religion that tells you you're special and that you have this special relationship with a creator. It's religion that tells you that you have some sort of special revelation from God and you're better than everybody else because of it. It's religion that tells you that you are somehow greater and that your tribe of whatever religion it is the right one and everybody else is wrong, and you just can look at people down your nose. I'm sorry, I don't think that I gained any arrogance by leaving my faith. I think quite the opposite is true. To realize that you're finite, that you aren't going to live forever, that you don't have any special knowledge, so you need to get about the actual work of understanding things like morality and the reality of the world that lives around you. This is a very humbling thing. I didn't find, I'm not going to say that that I'm a humble person. I'm not sure that that's something that somebody else would have to observe. But I can say that these understandings and how they've changed have humbled my thoughts about them, humbled the thoughts about myself in particular. And so that's kind of where I'm going to leave it today. But I'd be very interested in many other stories of how getting rid of your religion helped you have a better grip on the reality of who you were and who people are around you. So, comment away on this one. As always, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate every like, share, subscribe. Please do what you do. I'm kind of in a week where I'm transitioning the channel, so I'm kind of doing these videos instead of what I normally do because it's easier for me to just talk about some thoughts that I've been having and then doing what I do. Normally, I want to thank all my members, to all my citizens, Rabyd citizens and Tribunes that have stuck with me through this time. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. It's just very humbling to know, that something has value to you, that you're willing to pay a monthly fee every month. to make sure that I keep doing it. Thank you very much. That is another humbling aspect of this that as I go along through life. So thank you, thank you. And as always, live your best life. You only get one go around and then it's over. So you want to take all your time, money, and opportunities and give them to yourself, the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. And don't waste them on the trappings of religion and faith, because that's a dead end. And as always, thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you next time.